I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal for how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was scarred with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasted like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's number one team rocking Knicks universe. Your main man, Uncle Freezy. Welcome to the premier Knicks in the morning time joint, the Knicks morning drive. Salute to all my people watching us on X. Salute to all our people watching us on YouTube. Hey, Instagram, we on the way, baby. It's IG, we on the way, baby. We on our way. I think we're at like 1,000 on X, and we hadn't been putting content on IG. We on the way, baby. Right? It's gonna be we're gonna have a special joint today, man. I got one of my best friends in the podcasting space to join and rock with me, and so we're gonna rock the spot a little bit this morning. A little bit unconventional. Y'all just bear with me. Yo, I'm gonna bring my guy up here. Yeah, Coach, what's good?
Happy Sunday.
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
Brunch time,
With
man.
the Knicks.
Yeah, man.
Brunch time with orange tears.
Orange tears. How you feeling, boss?
Pretty good, man. Just hoping and wondering about, what we got brewing here with the coach situation and what little moves we're thinking about doing. And if what we're doing with Mikhail and Mitch's extension possibilities and all those little things are floating around in my head. As we're on the cusp tonight of possibly seeing, well, I guarantee a former Knick is going to be winning the championship tonight.
Ha
So, both players that had, hives and the Knicks fan base.
Yeah.
Two players that, kind of show something that if you, sometimes the players you have on your team, not everyone has to be an all-star piece,
Right.
to be a part of a champion. Like, a lot of times players, when we talk about stuff, we talk about, can they be a part of a championship level team?
Right.
And if I asked you that question 3 years ago about iHeart and Obi, a lot of our fan base will laugh at us by saying, oh, them two guys can't be part of a championship team. This had a championship roster if you're counting on guys like iHeart and Obi Toppin Well, when you talk about counting on, a lot of people immediately go to they're a star and they have to be a superstar level or something. Nah, man, you're part of the rotation of a team. That means they're counting on you for something. It doesn't mean you got to be their go-to guy.
Right.
So it just shows how important role players are.
Right.
And I think both these teams in the finals have shown the formula of kind of how to do things now.
Right.
Lean on your other guys on your bench.
Yeah.
We had one of our players ask our head coach this past year to do that. A guy that doesn't really talk much in the media. But for Mikal Bridges to come out and say that, hey, we got guys on our bench that could play.
Right.
So hopefully if the new guy does that, because with our salary cap situation and how backed up against the wall, against the apron we are, we're going to have a coach that's willing to develop. We're going to have to use some young guys. Guys are coming here for a discount.
Right.
We don't want to win, a chip. It's going to, I think there's going to be 3 new players on this team at 3 different levels of importance that we're going to sign this offseason. I think one of them is going to be kind of someone that's still unproven, that maybe has bounced around some places or waiting for their chance to do something kind of player.
Okay.
Second one, I think, is going to be maybe someone that usually their talent shows they should probably make more money, but maybe because of they've fallen short on their expectations, maybe because of injury, coaches fits, or other teams. So now they're cheaper than they should be. And then the third one, I think, is going to be some veteran that's going to take a pay cut. Be like, you know what? I'm going to play for a chance for a championship. Guys like things that like what Westbrook did,
Right.
Chris Pauls of the world, guys like that. So you hear all these rumors. We're all bouncing around the internet, starving
Right.
for information. When you see all those little rumors, there might be big moves on the horizon and all this stuff.
Right.
But no, man. Like I don't see a huge trade where one of our big big money guys is great. I think we're past that.
Right.
But one of the things we do have to address, I don't think we've touched on much lately, is Mikal Bridges and Mitch both are due for an extension.
Hey, let me ask you, this.
Yeah.
Because I think that part right there is fascinating, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I would like to, let me first do salute to the chat. Salute to my friend
man.
David Smith. David Smith, I see you, man. Salute to David Smith, I see you. Miguel P in the place to be out there, man. I see you. I appreciate my guy, man. Hot Grabber, what's good? Right out on the island, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Justin B.A. Harris, what's good? Y'all got something in common?
Yes,
Randall, what's good? Man, we see y'all out there. Salute to everybody watching us on X. X is the steady crowd, man. The X crowd, when they lock in, they don't go nowhere. Salute to my crowd on X. The ones that watch us on X, when you see them coming in, they're going to stay for like the whole joint. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't getting no coffee. They ain't taking no naps. They ain't going to the store. When as soon as they click the thing, they hear, right?
Yeah,
Salute
man.
to the X crowd, man. I mean, salute to everyone just coming in the door. I asked Coach before this, like, yo, what we gonna do? What we gonna talk about? And Coach has something that he kind of wanna talk about a little bit. And so I'm interested in that, but I'm also interested to see, do we get a coach that aligns with the possibility of extending all of these guys? And if we say bring in a coach that has another value system, what do we do to turn around or fit what that coach wants so that he can be successful during his term as head coach of the New York Knicks? Right. So I'm gonna just say this really quick, Coach. If Mike Brown is the coach, I don't see a place for Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Mitch.
Right.
No offense, because Bridges is my heartstring, right? I love Mitchell Robinson, right? I love Josh. But if we're just talking specifically about what the coach might do, then it puts us in that situation where it's like, does the coach really value all defense players, right? Or does he value guys that can make passes with either hand, guys that can move the ball, guys that can knock down free throws? Does he value bigs that can grab the rebound and push it? Well, hey, you know what? Here's a thing that I want to say to you. Will the next coach value Mitchell Robinson grabbing rebounds and dribbling up the floor? Have you ever seen Mitch dribble up the floor? No, you haven't. But have you ever seen a Tom Thibodeau center grab a rebound and push it up the floor? Like, all these little nuanced things that when you bring in fresh blood and a fresh perspective, does it unlock certain things? Like, does the new coach prefer a pivot four on offense, like a Dial, Draymond Green, Anthony Mason type, right? Or does he prefer a banger like Tibbs, a guy that's going to rebound and block shots, and if you're a superstar, he'll allow you to shoot?
Right.
I'm asking you, Coach. Does what you're saying to us? Are you basing this on what a modern NBA roster looks like, or are you basing it on what you think the next head coach will be looking to do?
Well, obviously, there needs to be a fresh outlook and philosophy with this particular group of players, because the philosophy of the old coach didn't work with this group. As far as ability, I think we have players that have ability to do some of the things that we didn't see them do this past year because it wasn't part of the scheme what they were coached to do. Do I think that OG Anunoby could be a good rebounder? Yeah. He's got all the athletic tools to be. He's got a strong base. He's athletic. He's agile. He can jump. He's strong enough to box people out. But however, because of the way our defense philosophy was last year, OG Anunoby defended the best offensive player on the other team most of the time. And when that happens, the best player on the other team is usually the one shooting the most. So they're driving to the basket or they're taking outside shots, and OG's too busy defending said shot to turn around and get a rebound.
But I hear Knicks fans say that a lot, and what I'm saying to Knicks fans is we got to relax.
Yeah.
Right? You can't. How often do you contest a jump shot, and then at the same time go grab the miss? If you can do that, what do you need other teammates for?
Exactly.
And you feel me? Like if I'm, hey man, yeah, we gotta relax.
Even like when you contest a layup, you're gonna land before.
Yeah, because think about that. If OG Anunoby is contesting layups all the time, that means his defense is not as good, right? If guys are getting to the rim and OG's contesting them at the rim, then we have another question like, why can't OG's defense be better? Right. And so just think about this, Chet. Just everybody, think about this. If you have Cat, who's one of the best rebounders in the league, Josh Hart, one of the best rebounders at his position, and Mitchell Robinson. Hold on for a second.
Mm-hmm. What I was trying to say, Mitchell Robinson, then why do you need OG to rebound if you got those other three guys doing it? So sometimes those numbers get skewed, for one reason or another. So that's why I think, bringing in another person that is either a jumbo wing type or a stretch four that also rebounds a bit. I personally think, and he's shown this, if the vet minimum guys or mid-level exemption situation or trade situation doesn't bring us someone like that, I think that honestly, Precious Achua, and I've said this on a few podcasts these last few days, I think Precious Achua has shown these last 2 years, what's up, Keith, that when he starts, he's a double-double guy. So that's got a fashion change. Yes, sir.
It's the Grammys, my guy.
So yeah, no, I was just go ahead. You were saying about mid, if you have
the OG thing, the OG
and Hart rebounding, then
the OG ask is I think it is maybe too much, right? Because think about this, we got OG Anunoby's elite defense, and we got OG Anunoby to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Right. And to ask OG Anunoby to stay healthy and provide elite defense, and then ask him to, on top of all that stuff, can you grab 3 more rebounds a game? And most Knicks fans are like, yo, we don't need 3, man. We just need 1. That's random. That's random. 1 rebound happens every night. There'll be nights when Jalen Brunson gets 6 rebounds. It's random.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're in that random territory where this stuff don't add up. And my thing is, let's ask OG to be more consistent offensively. Like those shots that he gets, the ones that didn't go in, we're not asking him to shoot more. We're like, hey man, hey dog, can you make more of the ones that you're already taking?
Yeah, be a better finisher
because you're doing it anyway.
Because this year, I mean, unless it was a dunk or a 3-pointer, it was like the RJ school of contested layups.
Yeah,
like he could not finish a layup. I mean, he did sometimes, but
yeah,
because he's strong enough and jumps high enough.
You want to see some RJ Barrett at the rim?
There you go.
OG Anunoby at the rim.
Yeah. But, and that's something I think, he can do better. But if you think about when he first came in the league, he was a raw prospect, and and then he wasn't a regular starter, and he had some injury problems. So his development, his game, it wasn't asked of him with his game. But I think now a lot of his game is evolving. I think that next phase is some ball handling and going to the rim a little better. It might be in his bag next year, because I think he's the kind of guy that works hard at his craft. So, and the thing is, even though it shows up as individual stat rebounding on your stats, a lot of time rebounding is a team positioning thing. A lot of it falls on what kind of team you're playing. If you're playing a team that chucks a bunch of threes, your front court isn't going to be getting as many rebounds that game.
Nope.
So there's a lot of factors to all that. And I was saying this. I was on a show yesterday.
You saw it. You was on there all day,
Yeah,
bro.
I know, man.
I thought you was gonna have to get an IV, bro.
Shout out to Ron on Still Knicks.
Salute to Ron, man.
We had a good time. But I had mentioned on his show, among other things, that in this search, because we all know that OG Anunoby is better at the three. Like, we'll be a better team if he's the three, and he had that in-between guy in between him and Cat, right? Whether it's another guy built like him that's more of a four, or just a guy that's like him that gravitates more to the rebound, whatever. That doesn't have to defend who he has to defend. Scouring through the NBA, the free agents and other teams.
May I speak? May I speak to the point that you just made about OG at the three?
Yeah.
Just want to interject just something here real quick. I think OG on the wing is the best version of OG. Right?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, if we had Scotty Barnes, right? If we had Scotty Barnes, Bridges, OG, and Scotty Barnes, you could legit rotate Barnes and OG in that 3-4 type of,
right,
not duplicitous, but flexible type scenario, where if OG is on one side of the floor and they're doing a thing on that side of the floor, you could duplicate the same defensive tactic on the other side of the floor that OG Anunoby is not on, which takes away the thing of needing a traditional power forward in a sense.
Right.
Because now the offense doesn't have a weakness that they can attack. Yeah. Right? You can't pull OG away and then Scotty Barnes is rich, right? And I mean in terms of me reaching for a guy that's kind of in that OG type. But if you had if you had two OG Anunobys, first of all, you probably hit the lottery, right? But if there were two OGs, I don't know if you need a Jaren Jackson Jr.
Right. Well, right? I think Trey Murphy the third.
You say if you had Trey Murphy, you would need a Chet Holmgren, right? Defensively, because while teams will attack the rim. Yo, Mike Austin is in the building. Salute, my guy.
Yes, sir.
Man, I should cuss your ass out.
Yeah.
I should cuss Mike Austin.
Oh yeah, we talk about Jonathan Isaac a bunch here.
Mike, where you been, bro? Right. Hey, respect to my guy, man. Thumbs. Hey, my guy Mike Austin in the chat, man. Hey, good morning to my guy. But coach, if if not disparaging your point, because I agree with you, right? With the man, wouldn't Jaren Jackson Jr. be perfect? You remember, coach, you remember when back when the season started, I was telling people that if we could get Mitch to play like Jaren Jackson Jr., remember I was like, man, if we had a Jaren Jackson Jr. on the team and a tall point guard, we'd win a championship, right? So I said that back then, had the conversations with y'all. Now, as the season evolved, others have come around to that point, understanding that the Knicks need a big ball handling, playmaking point guard, not just a playmaker in general, because you have playmakers. Mikal Bridges is a playmaker, right? OG Anunoby is a playmaker on offense. They can make plays on offense, but you don't need that type. The Knicks need a point guard. That's why when DeLon Wright got here at 6'5" and could play make a little bit, right? We all of a sudden fell in love with DeLon Wright, right? But if we could find a better version of DeLon Wright, who I respect, by the way, I think that's my point on.
Would you think a healthy version of Lonzo Ball would be someone like that?
Would be the perfect fit. Now, I understand. Now, but let me say this, Coach. You know, I feel like I'm a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like you did that to trap me into a conversation. Right. Right. Well, how much money does Lonzo Ball make? And then it goes, well, we might have a contract to. I get it.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm a fan of big playmaking point guards. Right. I'm a fan of those. I think they give you a distinct advantage offensively, because when teams trap you and when teams zone up in other areas, science kicks in. Right? If a 6-foot point guard is trapped by 2 6'6" guys, right? Whose advantage is it? Well, it's to the trappers. But when 2 6'6" guys try to trap another 6'6" guy, the advantage swings to the offense, because the sight lines are not covered, right? A 6'6" guy can see over another 6'6" guy, because defenders in traps, they don't come out and stand. They, of course, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we understand that part. Right. So when you speak to the Lonzo part, of course, but to the point that you were making about the power forward, I think that is very, very, very interesting, in that it has to be the perfect type for.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you scour the league, those guys don't exist anymore.
Right. Those guys don't exist.
Like Julius Randle, John Collins, Triple J, which, now they list him as a center, but really he's a power forward. Like there aren't many of those 6'8" to 6'10" strong players that can also shoot a little bit and do some playmaking here and again and rebound. Like a lot of those guys are now like Jason Tatum kind of guys. They're big wings that can go down and get some rebounds here and there.
Right.
Like that's the new. Like if you look at I look at some of the rosters that they have the initials PF next to their names, and I see 6'5", 6'6". It's weird to see. That's what. Like Scotty Barnes, he's not a traditional power forward, but he's listed as one.
Yeah.
But I think guys like a PJ Washington would be amazing here. He would fit in perfect in that role. I don't know if
What's the guy for? How do you like Grant Williams?
I don't know. He's too short.
You talking about in the trunk? Blow the whistle?
Isn't he like 6'6" only?
You call him too short? You talking about like
Yeah, he's like one of them sawed off.
tails?
Like he built like Dylan Brooks and Sadiq Bey, but trying to play power forward.
Okay.
Because he ain't skilled enough at other things. No disrespect to Grant Williams. He's a good professional basketball player.
Yeah.
But
I don't even. Where is he at in Charlotte?
yeah. Let's look at some. I mean, Royce O'Neal. Like, those are the kind of guys, realistically, everyone wants to say Giannis. Let's go get Jokic. It's easy. I know it's an exaggeration.
Yeah.
You got to be realistic with some of these grabs.
Right.
Like when you say the names, man, we need to get Nebhard. We need to get Neesmith. We need to get, no one says that. And yet those are pieces on a team that are close to winning. So every team needs role players. And to have role players, they got to play the minutes, The Najee Marshalls of the world. There's guys like that floating around.
Right.
I know you love you some Najee Marshall.
I love some Najee Marshall, bro. I love some Najee Marshall, bro. I ain't even gonna front, bro.
What do you think about Jalen Smith?
I don't.
Because I think the Bulls, like, what about Patrick Williams? Like, I think the Bulls are having a little fire sale.
I think so the whispers in the street are the Bulls are going to trade for Anthony Davis.
Wow.
That's the word on the street. The Bulls are going to prepare your NBA emotion for Anthony Davis to be a Chicago Bull.
Right.
Because front offices are too. If you think you're smart and you have zero resources, think about how smart these front offices are with all the resources. Right? They know, Dallas knows that by drafting Cooper Flagg, you can't have him come in and be a role player for a championship contender that has two injury-prone players as their championship leaders. Kyrie is out right now, and Anthony Davis is, in theory, in injury waiting to happen.
Why would they bring him in, though, to not keep him?
Who?
The Mavericks.
No, I know we're talking about the Mavericks. I'm talking about who are you talking about them bringing in and not keeping them? What player are you talking about?
Oh, no, you saying the Bulls are going to go for Anthony Davis, but Dallas ain't going to do that.
Huh?
I don't think Dallas is going to do that.
Yeah. When's the last time you saw a team try to get the number one pick and try to contend for a championship at the same time?
Well.
And have it work. How did that work out for Kuminga and Moody and
Magic Johnson? Or wait. Remember back then when that happened? That was weird.
Yeah.
That was them weird, shady days.
Yeah, we're still in weird, shady days.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Did you notice that the Lakers got Luka Doncic and sold for $10 billion in the same year? Shady. But not. Yeah, whether Knicks fans understand it or even like it, it don't matter. Chicago's dream pairing for those that'll follow Bulls Reddit is Anthony Davis and Jalen Brunson. That's their dream. Like how the Knicks talk about Giannis. Oh, we need Giannis. Chicago's dream pairing is Anthony Davis and Jalen Brunson, and neither one are. You think Bulls fans are like, you think the Knicks will take a bunch of first-round picks and Patrick Williams and Lonzo Ball and such for Jalen Brunson? No, y'all cut it. Relax. We're not trading y'all Jalen Brunson. Calm down. Right? That's the same thing Milwaukee says about Knicks packages. Hey, Knicks fans like, you think they'll take Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart and some? Relax. They're not taking that for Giannis. But what could happen, what will happen, and this is my prediction, and Coach, hey man, listen, I've been right on some stuff, man. People gonna have to give me credit sooner or later that Anthony Davis will be a Chicago Bull. Right? Because the prudent thing in Dallas is to tear it all the way down and have Cooper Flagg and Derek Lively be the future of the franchise. Right? Because Kyrie Irving, in theory, is out for the season.
Right.
They don't even have a point guard. So why would you keep the power PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford and Najee Marshall, and why would you stay in the second apron when you know you're not going to win 30 games? What sense does that make? It don't make sense. The prudent thing to do is to do the all-out rebuild, so you won't get a $30 million tax bill for a team that won 27 games.
Well, that's just it.
If you're the Knicks, then you could say, hey man, we'll give you something. We'll give you something for PJ Washington. We'll give you Kevin McCullough for PJ Washington or something. Something.
Well,
to get the salary off their book, because they wouldn't want salary in exchange.
I don't know. They hold PJ in pretty high regard over there.
I hold PJ in high regard over here.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's like, they were all kind of, I know fans were kind of weird and pissed about how they're going to feel that Cooper Flagg's playing that position. What are you going to put Flagg or PJ Washington at the 2? Because Anthony Davis ain't playing the 5.
Are you going to bring Cooper Flagg off the bench?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That like someone's got to go. And even Najee Marshall sitting there. And they got Gafford and Lively at center. What are you going to have, a 3-headed center? You can make AD play center when he don't want to?
Yeah, he gone, bro. Yeah.
Sounds to me like they need Josh Hart over there. I would do Josh Hart for PJ Washington right now, straight up. And we gained $5 million back on our salary cap. Because PJ makes 14 and Josh makes 19.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an extra $5 million we'd have. We could sign another person.
Yeah.
And keep Mitch. All the Mitch have will be happy. Because here's the thing, I'm glad you brought up that stuff earlier about what the new coach is going to have to deal with, what they got to think about the pieces and all that. The other thing that we got to talk about, it's the elephant in the room. We've got two guys that are on the last year of their deal, and they have extensions due to them. And both of them have two very different scenarios.
Yeah.
We have Mikal Bridges, who is extension eligible.
Yep.
In which we offered him already the 2-year extension for $30 million a year that he turned down. Which, let's face it, if you're smart, you're supposed to turn that down. He wasn't disrespecting the Knicks by turning that down. He believes in Mikal Bridges. He knows how healthy he can stay. So he's betting on himself. And to be honest with you, don't we all want players like that have confidence and believe in themselves? A lot of people are talking about Brunson gave us a gentleman's discount, blah, blah, blah. No, he didn't. Brunson was smart. He believes in himself. Because of this deal he helped us with now, it falls into the Supermax when it's done. Because he gets the Supermax a year or two earlier by agreeing to the deal he agreed to. Which he would have had to wait 2 more years if he did it the other way. He would have got his money earlier, but we can't expect Bridges to give us now. He might give us a gentleman's discount on this end, but a gentleman's discount for Bridges is, I'm sorry to say, some of y'all, that's $35 million.
Bridges is not getting less than 40, bro. Bridges is not getting less than 40.
Then he's got to go. We can't afford him.
Nah, you can afford him.
I mean, we can, but we're going to be past the second apron that year. The year that activates, which is fine if we're a championship roster. That's what it's built for. And that's what people don't understand. The second apron is built for teams that are paying a whole bunch of max money to a whole. And you don't get max money unless you're a good player. No one's giving you money for nothing. So if you got that many max players, the league is assuming you're buying a championship. You're building your team to win.
So, well, let me say this too. Let me say this to everybody. Remember that you, as a Knicks fan, still have the Tom Thibodeau residue on you. So the version of Mikal Bridges that you see is Tom Thibodeau playing Mikal Bridges as if he's Quentin Grimes.
Yep.
Right? That's not Mikal Bridges. It's one of the reasons why Tom Thibodeau is gone.
Trying to play cat as Mitchell Robinson, Joakim Noah, and Ihart.
Yeah.
Those are and Nerlens Noel.
And you wouldn't trade all 5 of those dudes together for cat. Right? The thing is that the next coach is gonna deploy and weaponize Mikal Bridges. Everybody knows that Mitchell Robinson was misused, Precious Achiuwa was misused, Deuce McBride was misused, Mikal Bridges was misused, and the most egregious of all was Josh Hart was overused. Right? So the next coach that comes in is going to get the best version of Mikal Bridges. Right? That's just what it is. Teams were not offering 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges to look like a upgraded Quentin Grimes. That's what we got this year, an upgraded Quentin Grimes. We got a Quentin Grimes combo out of Mikal Bridges, which in itself is a travesty. Right? That's a travesty. The next coach is going to come in and at a base level unlock Mikal Bridges at his career norms, which is almost his career norms, his career stuff is borderline all-star. Right? Just his career. Man, I think the New Orleans Thunder was like offering Herb Jones and multiple first round picks for Mikal Bridges, right? That's crazy, and we get him and play him as if he's Quentin Grimes. The next guy that comes in will be less stubborn than that.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what I got, Coach. I just want to inflate. I just want to inflate a deflated Mikal Bridges value. It's crazy how we think Bridges is a ham sandwich.
Yeah. And the thing is, through all that, he still averaged 17 points a game as technically the third or fourth option most nights. He was getting the scraps.
Yep.
And he gave us the most. When they do those highlight reels of the season, when they do the defensive section, Mikal Bridges had, if they had a clutch player of the year for defense, like Mikal last year, he had all the most clutch defensive plays all the way through the playoffs. Think about how many end of the game defensive stops he's had. You know, the block on Schroeder, the block on Vucevic in the Bulls game in the regular season.
Yeah.
You know, the two playoff thing. You know, he's had a lot of big defensive moments already for us. You know, and yes, could he have made more open shots? Hell yeah. Could he have been less awkward when he was dribbling the basketball and passing the ball around? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But none of these guys, they didn't know what their roles were. And that's what's going to be one of the most important things for this next coach to have. It's one thing to be super prepared and super organized with your own pigeonholed idea. But the next guy needs to be organized enough that all the guys on this team know their roles and know what's expected of them.
Right.
Instead of running around like a chicken with their head cut off, which it seemed like we were doing half the time on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that exact reason that's why I do want Bridges because here's the thing. Trading away Bridges, the only reason that dream of the Triple J thing is possible because Triple J's in the last year of his contract too. Newsflash.
And he won an all NBA award. He was defensive player of the year. So you already know what kind of money he gets.
Oh yeah. You think we can't afford Bridges? Triple J is going to get his 40, 45 million.
50 million.
Yeah.
55, 60 million. Just prepare for it.
Right.
When y'all see the Jaren Jackson number, y'all going to be like, yo, I can't believe he got that money. Right. But then when you look back to the Hartenstein contract, remember when we were like, yeah, man, we can only offer Hartenstein 17. You think he'll take 17 to stay? And then come to find out he making 30 million a year in OKC. And hey, what? OKC overpaid Hartenstein? No, they didn't. They offered him fair market value and he took it. Right? It's the same thing with all these guys. We're thinking guys are gonna take a little bit of money off because we Coach, how can you say trade Bridges, right, and say just get whatever you can for him, and then when he signs his extension, at the same time say, well, he should take a hometown discount because it don't work like that. You can't talk out both sides of your neck at the same time. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy when we do that. Like, nah, man, Bridges ain't worth 35. Well, if he ain't worth 35, what do you think you're gonna get on the trade market?
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like the level of player that we're wanting to replace him is going to make the same money. Like, what do you think? Everyone's saying like, oh, Trey Murphy the third. Yeah, he's making 25.6 now because this is going to be Mikhail's third contract. At the end of Trey Murphy the third's contract, he's going to be 31.6 million, and then he's going to be going for his third contract, which is going to be,
and then he's gonna get his max, his veteran
a
max.
whole lot of money. Like, y'all don't understand how much. Like, because really, Mikhail is, for what Mikhail brings to the table and what his ability is. I know you guys are disappointed because he didn't turn into whatever you expected him to turn into. But that's what someone of Mikal Bridges' ability warrants in the NBA. That's how much he's worth. I mean, do I personally think he earned $30 million this year for what he contributed? I don't know. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be giving free passes to nobody.
That man's about to have the biggest bounce back. That man's about to have the biggest bounce back you ever saw in your life.
The same people that won't pay, that are saying that
anybody,
that Mikal Bridges isn't even worth $30 million, are the same people that say pay Mitch $24 million. Make it make sense, bro.
It ain't gonna make sense, man.
So Bridges is only gonna make $6 million more than he's making now, but we're gonna double Mitchell Robinson's salary for a backup center. That can play some defense and rebound, which is important.
I get the fan frustration. I get the fan frustration, right? I get that.
I was frustrated too. Trust me.
But the fan frustration is not with the players. The fan frustration should be with the leader, and that guy is gone. And we're looking at what guys did with a guy that was fired, instead of looking at what these guys will look like with a modern NBA approach. And I know we don't have any data to support our guys in a modern NBA approach right now because we hadn't hired the guy yet, right? But once we find out who the guy is, we can at least start to talk about what that guy is in terms of what his track record was before he coached here. You talking to what you say, Coach?
No, I was saying, like, because someone chat was asking the question, what contending team has 4 players making $40 million or more? I go, well, Boston Celtics have 2 50s and 3 30s. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Look where it positioned them, and that's why they're as good as they were. I mean, you get what you pay for. Everyone thinks that you think all these other players in the league are giving discounts to their teams. The only time you see guys in the league, oh, he's only making 15 and 20 million, because he was just a rookie 3 or 4 years ago. And you know what? Their coach played him.
Yeah.
So that's why he's making 15, 20. We got guys on our team that are in their 4th, 5th year, are still making only 5 or 4 or 5 million because our coach never freaking played them. So they don't know what they're worth. Then all of a sudden, Quentin Grimes goes somewhere else and plays some, and now he's in line to make $26-30 million. Quentin Grimes. IQ's making $32 million. And
Yeah.
he couldn't even start for us.
Right.
A
Right.
team that couldn't make it past the second round. He couldn't even start.
He's
making 32.
I ain't gonna like in terms of what the fans do. The fans always do that. I've been doing this Knicks stuff for about 4.5 years here, and almost about 7 years. Well, not 7 years, maybe 6 or 7 years total if you count the years I was just going through rocking with Sims sporadically. But Knicks fans overall, they don't want to pay nobody. Everybody, and it's a fan base character flaw, right? Where they feel like people hold on for a second. Hold on. They feel like it's divine. It's some type of divine thing where people come here and play for the Knicks and just take less money because the orange and blue uniform look better than everybody else's, and it don't. And it don't. In order for you to win a championship and stop being a laughing stock, is for you to pay.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And if you feel like Bridges is going to make anything that starts with a 3,
You're not
you're gonna have your
realistic.
heart broke. You're gonna have your heart broke. And if you feel like the Knicks, if you feel like Mitchell Robinson is gonna make any, and if you feel like Mitch's extension is gonna start with anything less than a 3, y'all are crazy. Mitchell Robinson is about to get 4 years, 120 million. And I know y'all are gonna be like, "Fool, Mitchell Robinson." Yep. Did you see what Isaiah Hartenstein got? 3 years, 90 million. If you think Isaiah Hartenstein getting 3 years, 90 million is something, imagine what Mitchell Robinson is gonna get. Right? Because when the conversations always come to money, when Knicks fans, if you think your conversation about money makes sense, it doesn't. Your conversation should be about talent acquisition. If you think the conversation is about money, you're wrong. I'm sorry. And if your feelings got hurt by that, I'm your friend. If you can't take advice from your friend, who can you take advice from? Right? This is about the Knicks acquiring talent and retaining talent, right? You gotta pay these players. This is just what it is. If you don't think Mitch is worth $30 million, and when he gets that $30 million, you're gonna be a sourpuss. If you don't think Mikal Bridges is gonna get something that starts with a 4, in a league where elite wing players get something that starts with a 4, you're crazy. Did you see the contract that Philadelphia gave Paul George, and he missed a lot of the season? Elite two-way wings that have elite defense and elite scoring.
That don't get hurt.
Money, and that don't get hurt. They get this money. They get this money. It's like field goal kickers in the league that make $8 million. You like, bro, he just a kicker. Why he getting paid the same as the third wide receiver? Because he's a weapon and can score. Because when it's raining and the wind is blowing and your drive stalled out at the 37, you can trot Justin Tucker out there on the field, and it's money in the bank. Now you go from a 4-point lead to a 7-point lead, and now it's a touch. The other team has to score a touchdown. That's why you paid Justin Tucker all that money before he got cut, of course. It's the same thing with Bridges. You're gonna pay Bridges this money. Get used to it. Bridges is gonna get 4 years, 160 something at a minimum. That's what he's gonna get. It's just what it is. You already got your pay cut. Your captain took a pay cut so that these other guys can come in and get this money.
Right.
That's why you should be applauding Jalen Brunson, because what he did is he sacrificed himself so that others can get paid. So instead of talking about, man, trade Mikal Bridges for the bag of donuts or whatever it is, man, applaud Jalen Brunson for taking the pay cuts.
What is our second score averaged on this team before over the last 20, 30 years? Like them years that Randall was scoring 25, 26, who was our second leading scorer? Like RJ, right?
RJ was like 18.
18, 19
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, our third or fourth scoring option is getting that now. And that was considered a tragedy. How soon we get spoiled, like, I'm not saying, hey, let's settle for this. Of course, every time he missed a wide open three, I was the first guy yelling at the screen at him for missing.
I'll be on his neck.
Trust me, I was mad every time him and OG missed, because those are shots they don't. I feel professional wings in the NBA should be making, or at least 50% of the time, the wide open ones.
Yeah.
And especially when them two have made the most corner threes out of any NBA player in the league over the past 3 to 4 years. Those two players have, before they even got to us and when they got to us. So, yeah, That's where my expectations lie. But between him changing his shot mechanic, having a new team, having a coach that couldn't figure out how to utilize them properly, and another thing that happens, and I'm sorry, this is the thing, you can go back and look. Usually the second year of a trade, the guy usually has a better season the second year.
Yeah.
That's like usually a thing. Because there's usually an adjustment period.
Yeah.
But now I think there's an activation that's going to happen, because I feel the two biggest catalysts that were part of, as far as the teams, like when they talk about the players that weren't happy about Tibbs, it was the two newest players, Cat and Mikal. Those two guys had the biggest problem with what Tibbs was doing. Because Hart and Brunson and Deuce and Deuce and Mitch have grown used to it. They don't know any better. Tibbs is that's Tibbs. That's their. But guys like OG, which OG, he's the type, he just puts his head down and plays. But guys that are a little more, maybe outspoken. Look at Mikal Bridges. He's, like I said earlier, he actually said it in the media. The thing is, the next coach is going to maximize the system that we have. Brunson and Cat, they're meant, you got to play a certain defense that doesn't count on them to do a lot of switching and dropping back and closing out. Make your three athletic wings that play with those two do that stuff. There's a deep, they allow you to play. When Tom Thibodeau started coaching, man defense was all you were allowed to play. Now you can play zone. I know for sure that Jalen Brunson and Cat are more than capable of playing a zone defense.
Every NBA player can play.
Every NBA player can play zone
defense. Yeah.
Like,
it's the first defense you learn.
Tibbs was like trying to teach calculus to making it more difficult than it had to be. Why? He ain't used to having two juggernauts on offense on his team. And you're going to count on Cat to play like Mitch and Nerlens Noel and Joakim Noah on defense? That's who you're going to expect Cat to be on defense? No. You can't. They're different players. So,
yeah.
And anyone that wants to ride Tibbs' coattails, get the hell on out of here and go with him, man.
Yeah,
that's my. You want to make excuses for Tibbs? Bye, Felicia.
I'm not making excuses for Tibbs. All I'm saying is certain facts. Facts are facts. Tom Thibodeau never played zone defense. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Tom Thibodeau was fired. That's a fact. Right? The players revolted against Tom Thibodeau. That's a fact. That's not a narrative. That's a fact. Right? Tom Thibodeau had 5 years. That's also a fact. Right? So when we talk about Tibbs, now the thing about me and Tibbs is I don't want to kick that man back in. I would rather talk about the future.
Yeah.
But when we talk about the production of Mikal Bridges this 1 year with Tom Thibodeau, you draw Tom Thibodeau back into the conversation. When you say Mikal Bridges' value is low, you talk about the 1 year with Tibbs. Now you draw Tibbs back into the conversation. And then when Tibbs gets his back kicked in because of the way he misused the player, that's because we draw Tom Thibodeau. We're in a post-Tom Thibodeau era. We're in a post-Tom Thibodeau era. We're in the present. Presently, the Knicks don't have a coach. The future is the Knicks feel like they're a championship contender. That's the future of Knicks basketball, right? Competing for championships. That's where we are. That's the future of Knicks basketball, right? And so when we talk about these things either as primary or as an aside, right? Like if Bridges' value is diminished, then you're not going to get value for him, right? If you think trading away Bridges for a random NBA player is the way to go, right? And if everybody sees it like that, nobody's going to give you anything for Bridges. It seems like we're doing that trade boys in the hood thing where you just fight in the air out of frustration. If you fight in the air out of frustration, as respectfully, I'm not going to fight the air out of frustration with you. Just let you diffuse on your own, right? But Tom Thibodeau was gone, right? Most of the time, we try to talk about this moment where we are, right? Presently, the Knicks really don't have any free cap space to do anything, right? They just don't have that.
Most good teams don't. A team of all rookies or guys on their second contract aren't making it to the finals. The Thunder's an anomaly. But, they brought in, they're paying SGA. They're paying iHeart's their second highest salary on the team, ain't he?
No.
They just hit. The Thunder can't pay all them guys. Guarantee you that. They hit on their rookies, man. That's great.
They hit because they played their rookies.
They played them exactly. And that's all. And who coaches the Thunder?
Dagno, a young, innovative
Exactly.
head coach.
Who the hell was he before he got there? A nobody. That's
Well, I ain't gonna say nobody. I mean,
no one.
you
would
mean in
say,
terms of you talking about in terms of NBA stardom, coaching stardom?
yeah,
He
a
was nobody.
resume of like,
Yeah.
you know,
But he
we
was
have all
somebody,
these,
though.
like the Knicks are always clout and name chasing. You know, like it doesn't have to be a big name that's got a championship resume. You just have to be an open-minded, modern coach who's willing to adapt to his environment, adapt to the other team's philosophies and coaches. When they make a change, you can make a change too. You don't just force one way and that's it. That's not the way things go anymore. You got to have a roster that's flexible enough. You got your 3 or 4 core pieces, and then the rest of your roster is flexible. Like, say you have your top 6 guys that are in cement, like your 5 starters and your 6th man, right? The other 4 guys on your roster are flex guys. You got 2 defense heavy guys and 2 offense heavy guys. It depended on your game you're in, those other 4 guys are interchangeable depending on your need for that game. If we're in a game where we need some offense because our stars aren't scoring, then the 2 offensive guys in the middle of the bench are going to be playing more this game. If we got a game we're having a hard time stopping the other team, then the 2 defensive guys in the middle of the bench are going to play a little more this game. That's what good coaches do. You don't just play the same 7 and figure it out. You know, that's being adaptability. We just need someone here to be a leader of men that's going to let all these guys play and maximize their potential. Play the rookies, give them a chance, get a look at them. Maximize what Cat can do, maximize what Brunson can do, maximize what McHale can do, OG can do. That's what good coaches do. And sometimes the only thing a coach has got to do is get out of the damn way. Sometimes. Let these dudes play, man. They're pros.
Yeah.
Of course you need some guy. Like, most of the coaching you got to do is in the off season. And you can't put it in cement of what it's going to be the whole year when you don't know what's going to happen all year.
Right.
People get hurt. You know, people change their philosophies against you, the way they defend you. So you're going to have to make an adjustment. AKA, in January, the Thunder starts playing a center on Josh Hart. And we forgot how to play offense after that because we never adjusted.
Yep. In January.
The rest of the season, we didn't adjust at all.
We didn't make an adjustment at all.
Didn't even try starting another person.
Didn't even think about removing a small and putting in a big.
Yeah.
Right. Or didn't even think about clearing out so Josh Hart can take a big off the dribble.
Come on, man.
If you're a small and you can't take a big off the dribble and you're not an elite 3-point shooter, what are you doing out there on offense?
And you should be playing in China.
Right.
If you can't do that, bro.
I'm gonna tell you this. This is the easiest fix for the Knicks. I believe if you make this move, and I'm gonna say someone's name that I really love.
All right.
Right. So Chat, I'm not gonna point fingers at Tibbs or Cat or any of those guys. Right. I'm gonna point a finger at one person, and I know it's gonna sound unfair. right? I know this is going to sound unfair. If Deuce McBride was a real point guard, all the other stuff y'all saying wouldn't even matter.
It's true.
Wait, hold on. If Deuce McBride legitimately could facilitate, shoot the ball, and stay healthy, we wouldn't have any of these other issues. What it is that Deuce McBride's point guard play is a hole in the boat, right? And so what happens is when you have that hole in the boat, you try to plug it by having Mikal Bridges play point guard. Guess what you do? You create another hole in the boat, right? And then now when Mikal Bridges has the ball handle more and his defense suffers, right? Now you create another hole in the boat because OG Anunoby is now out here gambling. When you pull OG Anunoby away from Karl Anthony Towns, now you have Cat on an island, which creates another hole in the boat, right? And then now with Cat, when Cat is on an island, your backside rim, your backside paint protection is Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart because they cannot guard or stay in front of men on the perimeter. And it creates this cascading effect that affects everybody on the roster. So Uncle Freezy, what does that mean? Do you hate Deuce McBride? No, I don't. Man, I like Deuce McBride. Right? I like Deuce McBride. But there is no room in the NBA for a 6'1" wing player. Yeah. That masquerades or moonlights as a point guard. But can't. Right. So if you think about it, and if y'all thinking about I'm just picking on Deuce, I'm not picking on Deuce. Think about how many point guards the Knicks have brought in with Deuce McBride on the roster this year. Just this season. Right? They drafted Tyler Cole, they signed Cameron Payne, and they traded for DeLon Wright, knowing that they have Deuce McBride.
Yeah.
Think about what I just said. They drafted a point guard, they signed Cameron Payne, and they traded for DeLon Wright with Deuce McBride on the roster. And instead of us saying, hey, how come, what's going on with the development of Deuce McBride? We're spraying up the block. Oh, Bridges ain't nothing. Jalen Brunson dribbled too much. Josh Hart playing too many minutes. Right? All of this stuff. Instead of saying, you know what, Deuce McBride's not a point guard.
When you had Jokibitis in Summer League, you could have brought him in and he could have played that all year. The backup point guard. He was ready to play, bro.
All you have to do is fix the Deuce issue. I'm not saying trade Deuce. Right? I'm saying if you know Deuce McBride is not a point guard and you have to bring in Kolek, DeLon Wright, and Cameron Payne in order to play point guard in front of Deuce, then Deuce is your issue. We got to do something else with Deuce. We got to do something else with him.
And the only reason why I wasn't pounding the table more about it is because he only's making $4 million. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that gives him an excuse not to be a better ball handler and playmaker, but I'd be making an even bigger deal about it, you know, if he was making more money.
Think about. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Think about the teams in the playoffs in the Final Four. Right? Think about Indiana's backup point guard, TJ McConnell. Think about the Oklahoma City Thunder's backup point guard, Cason Wallace. Think about the Boston Celtics backup point guard, What's this guy? Peyton Pritchard. Think about Mike Conley.
And the
Right.
Thunder even has that Nikola Topic kid too.
Yep.
He's a
Think
point
about all
guard.
these guys, and then think about us rolling out DeLon Wright, Deuce McBride, and Cameron Payne. It's laughable. It's laughable just that we out here rolling out Deuce McBride, Cameron Payne, and DeLon Wright. And these guys have lottery picks coming off the bench. Cason Wallace is a lottery pick. And I know it seems unfair. Like, yo, why are you picking on Deuce? I'm not picking on Deuce. If we just want to keep it a stack, if you play the point guard position, you should probably be a point guard. It's the reason why right now we're talking about Knicks fans are having conversations about Malcolm Brogdon and Lonzo Ball. And some fans are even talking about D'Angelo Russell because Deuce McBride is a point guard that doesn't provide point guard type production. And that's our guy.
And Josh Hart is a shooting guard that can't shoot, but he rebounds so good. We're just going to call him a power guard, I guess. That's what Josh Hart is. Like, we got two guys that have a position that they can't do the things. Yeah, sure, Deuce can hit some threes, but so can 90% of the league if they're open. I'm sorry. Like, almost the whole league now can make open threes. If you give them threes.
37% from three is not impressive for a 6'1" guard.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Especially when you're not somebody who no one is game planning against Deuce McBride when he comes off the bench. They're not game planning for him. How many of Deuce McBride's threes were contested last year? Honestly. We got to stop pushing the goalpost for our favorite players. I'm tired of it. We hold everyone accountable. We have to. And if you watch playback TV with us watch these games with us, trust me, Cat gets his, Jalen Brunson gets his. They all get it all from us all the time. I believe Cat needs to lose some weight. He needs to be a better professional. He's personally admitted that he needs to be better at the silly, dumb fouls. He says it. He said it in interviews with the Inside the NBA guys. He says all that stuff. Brunson sometimes needs to take the blinders off and pass to somebody.
Right.
But the thing is, all those complaints we have with all these guys, most of it has to be a clean slate now because this is the crap they did when the other guy was here. So now, if they still have these problems when the new coach is here, then they're going to get even less slack from me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But with Deuce, he's been here long enough. We let Grimes go. We let IQ go because we thought you were going to step up and do something. and you didn't. When we're talking about the other guy was only playing 7 players, well, Deuce, you had the most minutes of anyone on our team off the bench, and you did nothing with it. Absolutely nothing. That's the God honest truth. Josh Hart played so many damn minutes. Hell yeah, he's going to accumulate some stats. I guarantee you play Precious Achua 30 to 35 minutes a game, he's going to have the same amount of rebounds as Josh Hart. He did it the last 2 years. I'm saying this again, if Landry Shamet played 30 to 35 minutes, he's going to average 15 points a game. I'm not saying that's what I want, but I'm just saying a lot of Josh's stats are volume minutes based stats. Like, he's in the game the whole damn time. So obviously he's going to get 12 points. And, you play that many minutes, Yes, he's, for a guy that's 6'4", he is an elite rebounder. He hustles. Awesome. He's got great energy. I'm not knocking any of that. He's one of those tryhards, and that's great. But he's a can't get right. He makes dumb decisions. He lets too many guys drive past him on defense. We already got 2 guys that aren't the greatest at defense. We can't start a third guy that isn't that great at defense. He's a mental, it's not politically correct to say that little person word anymore, but he just does dumb things a lot in the game. And I'm willing to be okay with that if we didn't count on him for so much. But now you're talking about, let's bring Josh off the bench. He should only be paying 20, 25 minutes. Well, you're going to pay $19, $20 million for a guy that only plays 20, 25 minutes? Now you got to look at that. So it's not personal. It's a business decision. It's a business decision. If Hart goes back to the lab and all of a sudden becomes a shooter and he can actually play shooting guard, then he's a great acquisition. He'd be a great shooting guard. If Josh Hart can shoot like Deuce can shoot and have all the other skills that shooting guards in the NBA have and dribble and all that, I guess Josh Hart would be making $30 million and playing for somebody else. He wouldn't have been a journeyman, and we would have got him for peanuts. A lot of you guys forget, how many teams was Josh on before he came to us? How many, Unc?
I don't know.
Like 3? He was on the Lakers, the Pelicans, the Trailblazers. Were they on the Trailblazers, Steve?
Yeah.
Hey,
did you see the Phoenix Suns traded Kevin Durant to Houston?
It just happened.
Just happened. Yep.
Oh boy, we gotta look at this one, boys and girls. Oh boy,
I got it. I'll put it up. I'll put it up on the screen.
Now we can see who's left in Houston. We can play with.
Yeah,
Wow.
you can see this coming from a mile away too, by the way. So that I'll just put this on the screen, share it with everybody.
Yeah. Let's see. Wow, and there's Dylan Brooks going to another team. Wow.
Jalen Green to the. That's not. I don't. How? Okay.
And people wanted to get rid of Cat for Kevin Durant when Kevin Durant was only worth a first-round pick, 5 seconds, and Jalen Green. Dylan Brooks is just a fluffer in that deal.
Chat, this is chat. What I'm telling y'all, when you see this trade right here, I'm telling y'all, this is what these 34, these 33, 34-year-old veterans are going to be going for. Kevin Durant just went for less than what Mikal Bridges went for. And Houston offered basically the same package plus more first-round picks for Mikal Bridges.
It's a young man's league, bro.
Yeah.
A guy who, mind you, the only person in NBA history to score over 25 points on 50, 40, 90 shooting for 3 years was Kevin Durant. And you know what 3 years it was? These last 3 years.
That's
This
crazy.
dude is still doing things like he's him on offense still. But he's 37.
Hey, and you know what? And so this is what I want to share with everybody, right? The Knicks are in a situation where could they have paid this price right here for Kevin Durant? Absolutely, they could have paid this. Absolutely, they could have paid this or more, right? But the Knicks are in a situation where I'm confident to say that they feel comfortable with the roster that they have and that the roster was just misused.
Yep.
I feel like the Knicks front office thinks that the roster that we have was misused. That's it.
What's this mean for Tari Eason and Jabari Smith?
That's a great question. What are you thinking? What's your instincts tell you?
You're gonna waste one of them too, because you can't play all of them. I mean, how many minutes can you play them if Kevin Durant's playing?
So you think this is a move headed to a move?
I mean, Fred VanVleet's making 40-something million. And now they got Kevin Durant making 50-something million. Like the money they just tied up on themselves, they can't sign nobody else. Because Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks were barely making what they didn't match Kevin Durant's salary. Wait, what was Jalen Green making? Let me look. Look at the trade thing. Rockets.
And Houston just re-signed Steven Adams to a 3-year deal, right?
Yeah, they just re-signed him, extended him. Where's the Suns at? How many shooting guards the Suns need?
And they only need 4 more, bro.
That's where you got to look for a shooting guard from that team.
That's what I said in the beginning.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal, Jalen Green, and
Grayson Allen. I'll take on Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
Bro, I would take Grayson Allen in a heartbeat. He plays some defense. He can shoot. He's scrappy as hell.
Yeah.
Jalen Green was making $33 million, and Dylan Brooks was making $22.
That's your salary match.
Oh, so that's the match. Yeah. Bro, at 23 years old, Jalen Green was making $33.3 million, and they let him go. for a 37-year-old. And they're already paying Sangoon $34 million. He got extended. Steven Adams is making 14. Their backup
Steven
center.
Adams is making Mitchell Robinson making 33, bro. Mitch legit is gonna get 4 years, 32 million.
Well, that's what Sangoon makes.
4 years, 32 million?
Well, he's making 33.9 in his first year. So let me see. Yes, 33.9, then it goes up to 35.6, 37.3, 39, 39. Player option.
Okay.
But I guess they're building around Sangoon instead of Jalen Green.
The irony is that you may have to move Jabari Smith. And that may be the stone that the builder refused if you're the Knicks.
Well, you know what, Freezy, also? That Fred VanVleet, $45 million is a team option. They might have another move and not sign him.
Nah, you can't sign him, bro. Are you interested in Fred VanVleet?
Not for $45 million.
No, I'm talking about after his.
Hell no, he ain't worth. And people saying that Mikal Bridges ain't worth $35 million. Fred VanVleet sure as hell ain't worth $45.
No, I'm talking about once his team option is declined.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't know. What would he be worth?
I don't know.
I mean, he only averaged 15 points and 5.9 assists. And he was a full-time starter. That don't translate, bro.
Right.
I mean, that's like, there's no way they could pay him, bro. Because if they're in win now mode, they got to get a point guard. Bro, they might mess around and try to go get Drew Holiday. Because for now they're in win now. You got Kevin Durant. That's not win now.
That's very win now.
It was just the number 2 seed. Think about that, y'all. They traded what everyone thought was the future of their franchise. And up until that playoff series, he laid an egg in. They were talking about Jalen Green being a multi-time All-Star the way he was playing. He was the number 2 seed team, Houston. And they just blew it up like that. So, man, I'm surprised that's all they gave up, like player-wise. They only wanted. I'm surprised they didn't. How did the Suns not ask for Jabari Smith or Torrey Eason?
Maybe Houston didn't want to give him up.
Maybe. Well, the
because
money
they
doesn't.
have him in another trade.
The thing is, they're not making enough money to match. That's why. Dylan Brooks is the only other person that makes the money match. They would have to put even Eason and Smith together only make $18 million. That still wouldn't be enough. Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I guess Amen Thompson's going to be the small forward. I mean, they got a log jam, bro, at that bigger wing. Durant, Thompson, Smith, and Eason. One
Some
of them.
call that quality depth.
Yeah, that is. I'll give them that. This is why you can't find good big wings in the league, because these other teams got them all. The Thunder, the Rockets, they got all these wings. That's why we can't find them. Man, that really changes some things, man.
What does that mean for the Knicks, though? Does that mean now you stay pat?
We know what that means to me. It just tells me and solidifies my mindset on how smart Leon Rose really is. Because I remember a time where the Knicks would sop up that deal in 2 seconds just to get Kevin Durant. And that's a Knick move. Bringing in a 37-year-old guy look, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he's past his prime, but
he's top 15 all time, bro.
Yeah. Kevin Durant, though, I'm sorry to say, he just hasn't proved he can lead a team to victory.
I don't think you need him to lead a team, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You just need him to be great.
But he's been on team.
What defense can you draw up to stop him?
No, I know, but like he hasn't been on a team where he's been the main guy first. Like he went to Steph's team and won with them.
Steph is the GOAT, bro. I don't know. To me, Steph is the GOAT right now in my mind.
Like he was a part of 2 big threes and couldn't do it. 3 big threes, technically.
Yeah.
The young big 3 he had with
they wasn't ready. Serge wasn't ready, and Harden wasn't ready.
Right.
But ironically, Eric Mena and Reggie Jackson were ready. Scott Brooks wouldn't play him because he was playing Harden and Westbrook, who were not ready, not all the way ready. But if you're Scott Brooks, you see the guys that are ready have less upside than the guys that aren't ready. So you have to play the guys that aren't ready to get them to an MVP trajectory in their career. So in hindsight, it was the wrong decision. In the long term, it was the perfect decision. Right? But if you're the Knicks, though, and you see this move, I think you still stay the course where you are. Find you a coach that can maximize Brunson and Cat, develop guys off the bench, find a point guard, a legitimate point guard for the roster, and compete in the East for an NBA title.
Bradley Beal has a no trade clause, so they're stuck with him.
Yeah, he signed it in Washington.
Yeah. So,
and was he got like 2 more years on that deal? Like 2 years?
Yeah. He still got 2 more years.
I wish my life was set up like that. I wish I had a no trade clause in my life.
Like, how many shooting guards? And they got Cody Martin.
Yeah.
Not that he's like, but they got like 50-point shooting guards on that team. Ryan Dunn. What happens to him now?
So what do we? I mean, Fritz Alcindor is in the building. Fritz, where were you at last night, man? Where was Fritz at last night?
I don't know. He popped in for a little bit.
Coach, I have to tell you an Uncle Sam story behind the scenes.
All right. Uncle Sam. Yeah. Yeah, please do.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, man.
I say we go get Grayson Allen right now.
What are you giving up for Grayson Allen?
Josh.
I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope that the prodigal son will come home. That's all I'm gonna say.
What?
Fritz Alcindor is
Fritz
the
in
builder.
the house. Yeah, Grayson Allen only makes $16.8 million. He's a good shooter, play defense. I'm not saying he. We need role players here, not more all-stars. That's what we need.
Hey, what's up, Frizzy?
What's up, Fritz?
Oh,
Hey, what's going on?
and trying to figure out Nick's life.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out this Nick's life.
Yeah. Whatever's happening out west don't affect me. Like we just worrying about the east.
I think. I mean, I think what happens is when you create trades like they just did, and it creates an expendable player or two on both teams because there's log jams at certain positions groups now, both teams. So
Mm-hmm.
things
Yeah,
fall down and guys become available.
Yeah. So my whole thing was like, I was hoping somebody fell off of a deal but it's obvious Phoenix needs to get a deal done. This is the best deal they could have got done. That Kevin Durant wouldn't blow up because Kevin Durant been active. Like he ain't just sitting by waiting to get traded. Like they wanted to send him in Toronto and he like nope. They wanted to send him to Minnesota and he was like nope. Like I will not extend. He was putting in work. He was putting in work behind the scenes. If you want to go someplace, you gotta fight to go where you want.
Right.
And Houston didn't overpay. They didn't have to, they weren't going to pay more than they had to.
Now, where did they get? Because technically, the money doesn't match.
What about it?
There's a $748,000 discrepancy. Is there some kind of trade exception thing that happened, or
okay?
Phoenix was operating over the second apron, so it has to be an exact match money wise,
or less. Okay, so the deal was Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and like a pick.
They'll probably add a body. They'll make it work. If this is the principal deal,
yeah,
a third team will probably they'll make it
Oh
work.
yeah. This is easy. Yeah, this is trading Jeff Green to Wizards, like something super odd, throwing somebody a second round pick,
right.
and be over with. Yeah,
They'll figure out a way.
yeah. So now, like Phoenix has more work to do because they're not really saving money on this trade, so they got more trades coming. Or Bradley Beal gets stretch provision. One of these.
It's what?
No,
Stretched.
stretch provision.
Yeah.
But I don't. Jalen Green ain't gonna be in Phoenix. He ain't gonna be there.
I mean, you talking about they're going to
He ain't
turn
gonna be
right
there.
around and trade him again?
They'll trade him again.
The thing is, there's no dearth in shooting guards. Everybody's got them. People
Yeah,
have like 5 of them.
yeah.
What do you trade them to New Orleans for?
No, okay. One team that really I would look out for, who likes these type of projects, is Utah. They like to buy low on something. They got to spend the money. Like I got to spend the money. I'm gonna buy low. Like they bought um John Collins. John Collins went for a second round pick in garbage.
But they didn't win
And
with John Collins though.
no, it wasn't about winning. It was about I have to spend money, but I'm gonna buy low on something. And for the next couple of years, if you have a few first round picks, you can have him. But we'll wait it out till he expires. But
But
until then, yeah. But that's what how Danny Ainge's been kicking the can, and that's how he kind of got into trouble he was this year, where he has a bunch of draft picks coming in, and he ain't got no spots. So now he has to consolidate. He has to consolidate some of these garbage contracts.
So
But that's
what's
kind of like their thing.
so does this mean Houston's not going to give Fred Van Fleet his team option?
Oh, I don't know. I think they love Fred Van Vliet. They probably want to sign him for less though. They gave him like a hunk of change to go there. Now you ask him to take less.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like, I can't do 44, but could you come? You can come back to 25. This is when you save that money.
right.
I don't think either team are done. Either team, both teams aren't done.
Right. You can't
Well,
trade
I think
Bradley Beal. He's got a no trade clause.
yeah. He made clear. He's like He said my family likes it in Phoenix. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. So you either cut me, you stretch provision me and give me all my money, or I'm fine where I'm at.
Looks like Booker's going with AD to Chicago. Uncle Free. No, they're
Nah,
gonna sign.
Chicago wants Bro,
They're signing Giddy.
Chicago, Chicago fans legitimately like Jalen Brunson.
Oh,
I don't
man.
even know what the whole. Man, I don't care.
He was there for a minute. He grew up there for a minute. Yeah.
They have a fascination with him and AD together, kind of like us with Giannis.
How many picks does Utah have this year? This draft.
This draft, 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds.
So they have to open up at least 2 spots.
And on the Devin Booker front, Devin Booker is beloved by another fan base, the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
They
Like
love him and Nas. I don't know. Fan bases are weird, bro. How does adding Devin Booker and Nas Reed make the Pistons a championship contender?
They like to dream. They ain't have nothing in a while.
Yeah,
If you ain't had nothing in a while, we used to dream. We used to dream weird names. People who wasn't even that good.
Utah's has the number 5 and number 21 pick. Them two guys are going to make the roster.
right.
A
So like
roster that has 15 guys under contract right now. Right now.
yeah, 15 for next year. Yeah.
Yeah. So their roster is already full, and they got They got one, the number 5 pick and number 21 pick. Them 2 guys are making the team.
Yeah. So they're going to consolidate. So you're going to see Jordan Clarkson. You're going to hear the names Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, John Collins all summer until they trade them.
Now, they do have a team option on Taylor Hendricks, Walker Kessler, and Keontae George, and Sensabaugh. Those 4 guys are team options.
Yeah, ain't letting them go.
You got to retain them, though, because they're cheap talent.
Yeah.
I like Taylor Hendricks.
Oh, even after the injury?
He only played but a handful of games.
Well, that's why you can get him for that's why you can get him for nothing.
Yeah, but you're not getting that. Did you see his injury? Bro, he got the Paul George injury.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's only 21 years old. It was sound like bring him in and he's gonna be the starting, 4. Yeah, it wasn't like that. It's like the way you like, Ryan Dunn.
Coach, please fall in love with Ryan Dunn right now.
I like Ryan Dunn.
I be telling y'all, y'all used to ride me when I told y'all about Trey Murphy III. Who? Trey Murphy III. Who was that guy? And then now people come back to me, hey, Uncle Freezy, what you think about Trey Murphy III? Bro, didn't I tell y'all to draft him instead of Quentin Grimes? I told y'all that. I told y'all to draft Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones. I said it at the draft. But Cass is like, but Quentin Grimes, Tom Thibodeau did the interview on NBA TV and he loved Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes is on his 15.
Bro, they got Svi 3 years.
Right?
Yeah, 3 years for $3.6 million. He's got 3 years left. What a weird contract.
That dude can shoot though, bro.
I know. We had him.
Yeah, that dude can shoot it.
They got Kyle Filipowski, 3 years, $3 million.
Second round pick, yeah. He should have been a top 10 pick, except his personal life is
Yeah.
Oh,
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take a flyer on
Flip? Hell yeah. Me? Yes.
Hell yeah. I would too.
Oh, he ain't going nowhere.
He
ain't going nowhere.
They're gonna keep him though.
He the pick, bro. On Flip, all the stuff that you said, yes, he solves that right away. Coach, what was the name? What was the name you told me on the phone? Of the guy that you said you asked me somebody. A power forward.
John Collins?
No.
Oh, Filipowski was.
No, you didn't say Filipowski.
Now I forget already.
Come on, bro. I'm a Duke fan, bro. Come on, man. You know I know about Filipowski already.
I forget, but you talk about so many people, I forgot already.
You talking about Uncle Sam? I don't want to ever see you again. Oh, Coach, that man hit a note in that song. He was like, oh. I was like, bro, that's not attractive, bro.
If we want to talk about having a bucket on the bench, tell me having someone like Jordan Clarkson would be good on the bench.
Yeah, he's going to be part of it. When they do a consolidation, he's going to be part of it.
Only $14.2 million. That's $5 million less than Josh makes.
The problem is their asking price for these players have been way too high.
Yeah.
So in Utah,
so that's why they have these players so long.
Bro, that's why I'm saying to y'all every time y'all bring up the Utah Jazz, I'm like, what do we even? Y'all just felt like just something random about something because Danny Ainge he not gonna participate, bro.
No,
I would give him. I would give them Josh for Clarkson.
I wouldn't give him. I give him
And
the
some
middle.
a couple of second round picks.
Yeah, they're not. They're gonna take some of these and they're gonna give it for Jalen Green. That's where Jalen Green's gonna go.
When was the last time the Utah
They
Jazz
can't
made
trade
a trade?
Jalen Green for.
60 days.
They're not trading him, bro.
He ain't gonna. He's not gonna make it to training camp. Jalen Green ain't gonna make it to training camp.
And how do you justify the KD trade then? If you don't keep
They
Jalen
had to.
Green?
They had to trade him. They had to trade him. That's the best. That's the best they can get with people who they can flip.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody was like, at first that the price they were asking for KD was ridiculous. Until the only team willing to do it was like Minnesota, and KD was like, I ain't going to Minnesota.
Yeah, I think San Antonio called out Phoenix last night, and I think that's what sped up the KD trade. When San Antonio, y'all see the ridiculous asking price for Kevin Durant. Next thing you know, Kevin Durant.
San Antonio's in another weird position. They ain't picking Dylan Harper
because they have
yeah, they got Castle and Fox.
And Fox.
What the hell they need Dylan Harper for?
Well, the ball's in court. Now they can hunt any trade they want.
But they have two. They have 2 and 14, right?
Yeah.
They can do what they want. They can trade up to number 1 if they want.
I don't know about that one, but they can do it. They can do almost anything.
You wouldn't trade De'Aaron Fox 2 and 14 for the number 1 pick.
Number 1 ain't going nowhere.
If you're Dallas, you would turn down De'Aaron Fox.
Yes.
Okay.
Nico care about his job a little bit, at least a little bit.
What?
De'Aaron Fox? What do you say? Okay, yeah, this.
You could play De'Aaron Fox and Kyrie in the same backcourt when he comes back.
Yes. And a 33-year-old point guard off ACL surgery is not guaranteed to heal in the same healing timeline as a young player that heals from that same timeline.
Oh no, it's not even anything about the trade. It's like they handpicked,
and then Dallas can turn around.
They handpicked each other.
And then
they're not gonna go around and trade him.
And then Dallas can turn around and draft Dylan Harper.
And grab Dylan Harper, right? And 2. Your young core would be Dylan Harper and Derek Lively.
I don't know. That's 2K to me. But
it's realistic.
Wait. Hold on. Fritz, how's that 2K?
Because it doesn't factor in real life. In real life, San Antonio made De'Aaron Fox happen.
From the Dallas point, how was the Dallas point?
From Dallas it doesn't. It may be real to Dallas, but to San Antonio, there's relationships there. It's not just we have this guy. No, it's like there's actual relationships there.
What, De'Aaron Fox, you mean?
It's almost like somebody putting a trade for Jalen Brunson. And it's like there might be some trades that be
they already got Castle.
No, but I'm just saying just the relationship between the Knicks and Jalen Brunson isn't something you throw away for a good trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the calculator needs batteries, bro. The fact that you say San Antonio wouldn't put Cooper Flag and Wemby together is boggling my mind. If that's not the most perfect basketball fit you can imagine, then I don't know who I'm talking to about basketball.
Now the Jazz, on the other hand, they'll go up to number 1.
Cooper Flag and Wemby together, not being a great fit, a great pairing. And then Dallas, and then everybody would win. Everybody would win in that. You get De'Aaron Fox to be the guy until Kyrie recovers or doesn't. Right? If Kyrie doesn't recover, you still have a 26-year-old point guard that's the future of your franchise. Kyrie Irving has played his last 5 seasons with another ball dominant point guard in the backcourt, whether it's Luka or James Harden. So you know that they coexist.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not what I'm talking about is not even basketball. It's relationships. So like I just couldn't it's not even about the basketball fit. It's about relationships. So, like there's certain things you just don't do.
Right. Like it's about relationships. There are certain things you don't do, like trade Luka Doncic to your rival.
Yes, certain things you don't do. Yeah.
But it
I'm just
happens.
saying. Yeah, but it happened. It's breezy. I believe you. But this is certain things you don't do. Like San Antonio has a great reputation. And if they
Like,
did this,
like you don't
their
trade Luka
reputation,
Doncic at 25 years old to the Lakers. But it
yeah,
happened.
yeah. There's things like as a franchise, if the Knicks ever traded after Jalen Brunson took a pay cut, if we traded him, you know what I mean? Nobody want to play for the Knicks.
And see,
You know what I mean?
but just
You know what I
but
mean? It's that type
but
of thing.
that's a random
No, but there's
addition
certain
trade.
relationship
But
things
if
you
you
just
talk to
don't
the
do in the
Knicks
NBA.
about if you talk to the if there was a possibility that the Knicks could get Cooper Flag and somebody a high profile player off the Knicks would have to go in the trade, to assume that Leon Rose wouldn't consider that to me is crazy.
If that person is Jalen Brunson, that's what I'm saying. Right now, De'Aaron Fox is Jalen Brunson to the fans who are the Spurs right now. Because he said he wanted to go there. And he forced his way there. San Antonio went out and got him at a low price because he forced it. They worked together to make that happen. If you went around and then traded him right back after he did that, when he could have got when he could have got a huge max over no.
But
So what?
if you told San Antonio, hey, if you just wait, you could get Cooper Flag. Which move do you think San Antonio would have done? Traded for De'Aaron Fox or waited for Cooper Flag?
I'm just saying this is just relationships. There's certain things that could ruin your reputation, and that's one of those things.
Coach, which one would you do? Would you have traded for De'Aaron Fox, or would you have waited for Cooper Flag to go with Wemby? See how there's an
I don't
equal
know.
sign there. See how there's an equal sign that make you think about this thing.
If the Aaron Fox was a better shooter, I'd be a little more leaning towards a hell yeah. I would just keep the Aaron Fox. I know what I got with him.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox. All I
Flag,
can say,
might be the next Christian Laettner for all we know.
Laettner didn't have a bad career.
No, I'm just saying. I think Cooper Flag is gonna be. He's more.
I know Nico Harrison could pack a box.
He's more like Tatum.
As soon as he faxes that in, he could pack a box. He could pack a box right then. Pack a box and see security.
Yeah, he now on this on okay.
Oh my God. All right, so what does this move do? What does this show the rest of the league?
Means the Knicks are going to stay pat. The Knicks are not going to make a major move.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I didn't want Durant, so this just
Durant
was I'm talking about the cascading effect. See, the fact that Phoenix did the move, but the only reciprocal piece that they can do to put on the market has a no trade clause. So that clogs the drain again. Right? So say if they traded Kevin Durant to Minnesota and got a bunch of pieces back, right? And then the other team, say Minnesota had a whole bunch of pieces they can move. then we'd be thinking like, hey man, you know, that McDaniels kid, is he going to come off the bench behind Durant making all that money? All these type scenarios where now you make one move and it creates a butterfly, but the move with Phoenix clogged the drain because they're not trading Booker and they're not trading
What,
the other guy,
what's
and they
the,
can't trade Green for at least 60 days.
what's the date, Fritz, that teams and players have to claim their options? Is it at the end of the season calendar year?
Yeah,
Let me.
it's
I have a
up.
schedule.
It's usually different days depending on the player leading up to the
Yeah,
July
and
1st.
they can extend it too.
It has to be done before July 1st though, before the calendar year starts.
Yeah, and they can extend it too. Like if the team agrees, they can take
Well,
more
because
time.
when you mentioned Minnesota, because they were one of the teams in the mix. Now you got
Yeah,
Julius.
but Kevin don't want to go there.
Now you got
Yeah,
Julius Randle. He's got a $31 million player option.
yeah.
Does Julius Randle go to free agency and get?
That's why the Knicks didn't keep him. They didn't want that. They didn't want that. They didn't want nobody holding them hostage.
I mean, Nas Reed has a 15
Playing
million.
that role, but I had intel that told me 2 years ago that Karl Anthony Towns was going to be a Knick whenever he was ready.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the
Whenever
Knicks
he was ready, and then
wasn't going to let
at
Julius
the
wasn't going
season,
to let Julius Randle hold them hostage.
I want to see
at
because
the end of the season, Cat was like, "Yeah, man, yeah, I'm ready."
hey, you got to get that homeboy from the Heat. I know he's mad as hell. You bet he was hoping they were getting AD. A lot of Heat fans want AD.
Yeah, well,
He didn't have much to offer. They had to
I know.
get off of Khalil Ware, and they didn't want to get off.
nah, they smart, bro. You're not going to trade a young, talented player like that.
Yeah, you're not going to have a decent five. You're not even going to have a decent five players put on the court.
So Fritz, how much is Nas Reed worth if he declines his player option?
Depends on the team, 30s, 20s, upper
Because he
20s, 30s.
because he has a $15 million player option. He ain't taking that.
He ain't
No,
taking that. He's going to be in the 20s and 30s. He's going to be in the 30s.
I have a homeboy that does Piston stuff, and they were saying the Pistons are willing to offer that man 37.
Yeah.
They think Nas Reed is a bona fide breakout star. Like once Nas Reed gets to start, they think he's 20 and 10 on 40% from three. Is that what you think, Coach?
I think he's Montrezl Harrell that can shoot a little bit.
I think he's Montrezl Harrell. But you know what though?
He can score.
Montrezl Harrell hit free agency and got paid. Remember that?
Yeah. And then he disappeared.
Then he disappeared. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at Nas Reed at 15 or 20 million, hell yeah.
Some days is gone.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Once Nick showed up in that last year and did that in the playoffs, Centers was back. Centers was back.
Yeah.
Knicks was just bullying teams. The Centers is back.
So one thing, Coach, before I have to wrap up, man, and get out of here. With the roster that we already have, what do you think is the must-have improvement for the summer? Like the must-have move. Like regardless of all the names we throw around, what's the move that's going to improve the roster?
Besides the coach situation? You mean besides the coach situation? Or?
Yeah. Because I asked you that part already, but we couldn't talk
Yeah.
to it because
I no one wants to hear this. We got to upgrade because whether people like it or not, Mitch, Deuce, and Hart are bench players. We need to upgrade our bench. And if it means if we're going to keep those three guys, we have to bring in 3 offensive guys. Because we can't count on them 3 for offense. We just can't. Just look at yourself in the mirror, Knicks fans, and Hart, Mitch, and Deuce Hivers. Those 3 guys are not going to produce offense for the New York
that man
Knicks.
love picking a fight with the chat, bro.
Okay,
They're gonna
I don't mind keeping them. We can keep them. Look, I'm not saying trade them. We can keep them, but we better not get another guy for defense again, because those are your 3 defensive subs. We need 3 offensive guys besides those guys. Okay, because we count on those guys, we're not going to be a high-scoring team, and that don't work in the NBA. This ain't the 90s no more. Just being real. So if we don't get rid of one of those guys, we got no money. So we got to get 3 vet minimum guys that'll create offense, or hope Pacome Dadier or McCullough take off this year. That's just being real. So when I say Hart, Mitch, or Deuce have to get traded to make our bench better and our team better, it doesn't mean I don't like those guys. That's just business. It's not personal. Last year, we got rid of my 3 favorite Knicks. Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, and Ihart were my 3 favorite Knicks. And they were gone. You see me crying about it? Nope. I moved on and loved the next guys that stepped up to play. That's what you do as a Knicks fan. I'm not going to sacrifice our team because I think Mitch deserves $25 million because I like him, his defense better. The block nets monster that doesn't get blocks. I mean, come on, man. Be real. Can't make a free throw. I'm going to pay Josh Hart $19 million and not defend a damn soul. Give the ball back to the other team. Cheat into the paint instead of closing out on threes. I'm not going to keep Deuce around and give him 6-man minutes when he can't even average double-digit points. He can't dribble. He can't play mate at only 6'1", a 6'1" 3-and-D player. That's who we want to keep around for our bench and get mad when I mentioned spending $35 million for Mikal Bridges. Get the hell out of here, man. So one of those guys got to go, or we got to develop some young guys because that's where we're at. And hopefully the new coach unlocks these 4 star players we have, because that's who they are. Mikal Bridges and OG are stars in this league. Whether you want the right coach, they're stars. We already got 2 superstars with Cat and Brunson. They're all NBA. Only 2 other teams had 2 all NBA guys. The Thunder and the Cavaliers, the 2 best records in the league. So that's where the Knicks are. We have 2 players like that.
Darius Garland.
Darius, I like Darius Garland.
Darius Garland. The Knicks have to get a point guard in here.
Yeah.
They have to. Hey, on that note, everybody, so we're going to do vibes and stuff later on. I'm going to do a little vibes. I'm going to call out guys like Coach Malpica, I'll probably call out Fritz Alcindor on Vibes later on, probably about 6 o'clock, just to just talk some noise, all of that. We're gonna try to do the Knicks at Night podcast later on tonight. Chop it up a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can get the guys to argue a little bit over the third option, something like that, just something crazy. Thank y'all for coming through. Thank you everybody for helping the channel grow, and things of that sort. Man, we're gonna try to bring some things, some more content to you, so that you can be more engaged in everything. So thank y'all everybody. We're gonna get out of here. Peace, y'all.
Let's get Anthony Black.
Anthony Black.